Okay, so it's Monday, start of the week, and I've just started prepping for my set this bank holiday weekend at the Ultra Vegas Donate to Dance event, which is raising money for a local cancer hospice here in Milton Keynes called Willen Hospice. Now at this stage I'm not sure if it's an outdoor or indoor gig, which always adds a bit of excitement, a bit of pressure. If it's outside, I've got to get those sunny vibes just right, obviously. But also I need to make sure I've got a few bangers in the bag if the weather turns. So right now I'm starting to go through my existing playlists in Rekordbox, trying to search for tracks and trying to find music that's just going to be a real good fit for the event. Now I've been watching the conversations in the group WhatsApp chat for this event, and it's clear that the promoter doesn't want any tracks played multiple times. So for this reason I'm going to need to prepare more music than I usually do, so that I can avoid any repetition with other DJs that are on before me. I'm on at 4 PM in the afternoon and there's 6 DJs before me. There's so many DJs playing, actually the set times are quite short, so there's a bonus to it being a short set, and with multiple DJs playing short sets there might not be an opportunity for many tracks to get duplicated, but you do run the risk of it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm feeling extremely anxious about my tune selection right now, and ensuring that I've got enough music to kind of get around this. So I'm going to be playing on stage 1, which is called the Old Skool stage, so it's old school music. So I'm thinking like summer house vibes from the noughties, a bit of funky disco house influence in there, maybe some late 80s and mid 90s dance bits thrown in as well. So let's see where it takes me. So I'm here in Rekordbox and I've set up a playlist folder called Ultra Vegas for the event. To create that, just in case you want to know how that's done, in Rekordbox, where if you hover over the playlists option, you get a little plus sign, click on that and you can add a new playlist. Alternatively, what you can do, let me just click away from there. Alternatively, what you can do is if you right click, so you've got create new playlist, create new intelligent playlist, which I do use a lot, and create new folder. So I've created a new folder for Ultra Vegas, and then within it I've created so far 5 playlists. Ignoring Ultra Vegas Mix 1 and Ultra Vegas Mix 2 for a minute, I've got some kind of Armand Van Helden type vibe going on, CJ Boland, his remix of Tori Amos, that kind of stuff. I've set up a trance set as well. I was asked to play some old school house, so I'm not expecting to play trance, but I am known for playing trance from the Sensoria residency that I held for 8-9 years. So I've got them in a playlist ready, just in case the vibe goes that way, or if I'm asked to jump on and do another set. Also I've got Ultra Vegas Mix 5 here, piano house anthems. This is kind of where I was going to go with it. So I was going to go very sort of piano heavy, Gap Decor, Passion, Strings of Life, the original Alison Limerick, some Eric Prydz, Gala, Awesome Free, maybe kind of, I'm not sure whether to blend in some breakbeat as well as house. I don't want to sort of ruin the vibe, but I think with something like Awesome 3 Don't Go, that could work really well. I've actually got a mashup here that's Awesome 3 and Don't Go and Hey you know it. Ultra Vegas Mix 2 is just I was just throwing a load of stuff in here. Wild Child, Dario G, Pete Heller, Loveland, some Alex Party, look, Roger Sanchez, Junior Jack, Stonebridge, lots of classics. Calvin Harris from 2000, Booty Love, Super Mode. I'm known on MKFM for playing commercial dance music in the mix shows. So again, if people are expecting to hear me, they're either going to expect to hear that type of stuff or trance. And I've got Ultra Vegas Mix 1 here, which kind of random. Some random stuff here, like Stromae, Laws on Dance. I think would work or could work. It's from 2009, but it's like 120 beats per minute. And most of the other stuff, if you look at the BPMs in here, are quite high. 128, 129, 127. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should set one up that's a bit slower. But they want... The promoter had said in the WhatsApp chat from opening at midday, 12 o'clock, not to go slamming in. So the first DJs that are on, nice light vibes. Nice light vibes, like starting the night. So starting the event. I'm on at 4 with 6 DJs before me. I can build it into like the guy coming on after me at 5 o'clock, or I think it's 2 girls actually doing back to back after me. Like 5, 6, that starts to take it into evening hours, doesn't it? So I think I can kind of step it up a bit. I think the piano house anthems is going to be the way I'm going to go. This isn't the set list here, by the way. This is just me pulling ideas across from my music app. I still call this iTunes. I want to Hyper Go-Go. I'm thinking I'll definitely want to get Hyper Go-Go high in. So let me just drag that over in. So the piano house. There we go. So Hyper Go-Go's there as well. It's just processing. And then what I'll do is for the tracks that I haven't yet marked up with cue points, I'll definitely mark them up with cue points. Memory cues and hot cues. We've been told in the chat, it's someone supplying Pioneer CDJ 2000 Nexus, but I don't know, are they the Nexus 2s or just Nexus? And if that's the case, from memory, the cues work differently, or you have to call up the cues. I could be wrong, I could be completely wrong. I'm so used to using the CDJ 3000s now, where the hot cues, memory cues, they all just load automatically. So I can't quite remember. I might need to look that up online. So I'm also anxious about the equipment that's going to be used. They've also said about using a rotary mixer. Now, I've never used one in all the years I've DJ'd. I've never used a rotary mixer, although someone just did say recently in the chat about getting hold of an A9 mixer, so DJM A9 Pioneer. That's the same mixer I use, and someone said they can get one. So I've literally said in the chat that would be my preference, because at least that'll give me one piece of equipment out of the 3, 2 decks and mixer, that I'll be a little bit more familiar with. Okay, so it's event day. It is Sunday the 25th of May, bank holiday weekend. It's just gone 10 past 12 and I'm about to head off to Calverton for the Ultra Vegas event at the Shoulder of Mutton in aid of Willen Hospice. Let's go do this. Okay, here we go then. Post-gig analysis. Fantastic day. Absolutely brilliant day. The people were on point. The vibe around the whole event. The venue looked amazing. So they literally converted an entire... it's a pub in the countryside, funny enough. But they had a lot of outdoor space. So the Ultra Vegas promoters had put up a massive, and I do mean massive... I don't want to use the word canopy because you might get the wrong idea. It was like a firm structure, not a marquee as such, but I'm sure some of you can imagine what it might look like. So it was 3 rooms. The main stage, stage 1, the old school stage, that was the one that was under the canopy. So we were outside but covered. I'll come into that in a minute because that sort of affected people being in that area early on, but I'll get to that in a minute. There was a second stage that was set up that was also outside. That one was in the sun. That'll tie into what I was just talking about. And the third room was actually inside. It was inside the pub. The room was set out lovely. Great sound system, tuned to perfection. Nice one to Andy and the team that did that one. But yeah, it looked fantastic, honestly. Everyone said the same on the day as well. And there was like barbecues and food and whatever. There was a bit of wind. They turned up on the morning of the gig, and the green room had blown into a farmer's field, a couple of fields across apparently. So we kind of lost the green room for the artists and performers on the day. But listen, yeah, no, it was fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'll put up my track list on the screen now. Now, you see, you might look at that. Some people will look at that definitely and go, "Oh, it's really commercial," you know, or it's pop music, you might say, like Gala, Freed from Desire, Tori Amos, Professional Widow, things like that, the Bucketheads. But the thing is, it's an old school set. It was an old school stage, and we were playing all of those tracks on white label, on promos, when they first got released, if they were imports, then when they were first imported, before the charts even got hold of them. They were tracks, they were tunes that were played in the venues, in the clubs. We were rocking dance floors with that stuff, and people were singing along back then. Okay, they're more widely known now, so yeah, you might class it as a commercial track, but they're also the tracks everybody knows, and they're tracks that people would be able to sing along with. And that's the aim of the game. And do you know what? It always has been. I was having this conversation with one of the DJs on the day. And it's a tried and tested formula. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You get the girls dancing. If you get the girls dancing, the party just begins, quite frankly. All right, so let's come back to the cover and the sun. So there was I don't want to call it an issue, but I noticed early on, there were 6 DJs before me, and truly, for all 6 of them, there were not many people in the stage 1 arena. What was happening was, because the sun was out, people were in the sun at the second stage, the one that was kind of out the front of the venue. And that made sense. There was more of a soul, laid-back vibe, chilled kind of vibe on that stage. Although a couple of the DJs were playing some stuff that, you know, we were going to be playing in the old school stage. That was interesting. I think they kind of might have gone off a little bit there. But yeah, so everyone was in the sun. And so for that reason, you kind of look where the venue was, you could see literally a line on the floor, if you like, of where the sun was and then where the shadow hits. And so there was no sun hitting anywhere on the arena that we were in. But the DJ on before me started to, well, definitely slam a bit harder. He picked up the tunes, he picked up the pace. And then, I've got to be completely honest, I think part of this is timing. Whether there were some clouds that affected the sun, I don't know. But when I came on, people were actually coming in to the arena. And so, fortunately for me, from my perspective, I had people to play to. And there's nothing better than, obviously, vibing off of people. Now, I know lots of DJs will sort of say, you know, I'll play to an empty room, I'll play to one person, I'll play to the bar staff. Yeah, absolutely. Been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. You know, if the barman's tapping along or swaying, you know you're doing something right. Or if you've just got one person. But to vibe off of the atmosphere and then kind of take your music to where the crowd tells you to go, that's being a DJ for me. For me, that's working with the crowd. I know I do all my videos here on YouTube of me mixing in my front room to the dogs. there's no sound coming out because it's all in my headphones, so even the dogs can't hear it. My wife can't hear it if she's in the room. It's dead silent. So when you see me making my mixes, recording my mixes, doing my mixes on YouTube, there's silence in the house. I'm jamming out because it's literally I'm listening to the main output in my headphones. I'm having a whale of a time. But yeah, no, back to the Ultra Vegas event. It was brilliant to see so many DJs. We all kind of grew up together, on the scene, as it were. I'm kind of a bit of a backstep, if you like, from that whole crew. So Ultra Vegas kind of I actually DJ'd for the competition, if you like. It was always like a friendly competition. So I DJ'd for a promotion called Sensoria, which was sort of running at the same time that Ultra Vegas was really big. And so we were trance, and Ultra Vegas was more so house. Although, speaking to DJs yesterday, apparently they did used to play some trance at Ultra Vegas. But the promoter from Ultra Vegas also used to run a garage night called Casino. So there were DJs playing, trance. There were DJs playing UKG, so UK Garage. Me with the commercial stuff. Other people with more sort of underground or laid back or chilled vibe. It was a good mix of music on the day. It really was. But so they're kind of they're not clicky. I was about to say there's a clique of DJs from Ultra Vegas. That might give the wrong impression, because sometimes when you say that people there's a clique. Sometimes that can have a negative connotation. I don't mean it like that at all. I don't mean it in that sense. There's a group of DJs who were literally the Ultra Vegas resident DJs. In fact, a lot of people asked me on the day, were you an Ultra Vegas resident then back in the day? I was like, no. I have played for the promoter, Mark Carter, at a couple of his other events, but not actually at Ultra Vegas or on any of the Ultra Vegas nights. So it was great to be involved. But what was nice was, like, all of the DJs knew me and would come up to me and speak to me and be, it was an honour. It was honour, but very humbling as well. The fact that all of their DJs knew who I was from the scene, and kind of from day one as Glenn Woods, Neighbourhood by Zed Bias. That wouldn't have come about if it wasn't for Glenn. That track was literally written for Glenn as an intro tune. It was a one-off dub plate. I feel good, good, good. I feel good, just wonderful, good. Every time I come into the club, I have to listen to Glenn Woods in my neighbourhood. The lyrics sort of changed for it to go commercial and get a commercial release. But like, even Glenn came up to me and sort of said, "Nah, man, I'm glad to see you're here. You've been here since day one," as in been here on the scene of Milton Keynes DJs. It was great. So the event was fabulous. I'm flipping knackered though. Age definitely has caught up with me. I didn't sit down at all, so I stood for a long time, and I wanted to get there for opening as well. So my big concern, I think I've already said it in the videos, my big concern was what other DJs were going to play before me. Now, the guy that was on before me, he did slam a whole load of my tracks to the point that I literally grabbed my mobile. I had Google Keep, like the Notes app, open, and I did myself a do not playlist. Things like Alison Limerick, where love lives. I had the Dancing Divas version of that to drop, because again, get the girlies singing. It's a shame because he didn't have as many people in the arena as I did at that point. Now, something else I did do. So here's I don't know whether you want to take this as a tip or not. I asked them, is there a microphone available? Now, there should have been mics set up initially, because there was actually going to be an MC and a singer for the garage set, actually for when Glenn Woods was going to do a pure vinyl set with Nikki Prince, the vocalist from Neighbourhood, and they're performing it live. But the microphones didn't arrive until during my set. But they did have one that they found, so they grabbed that, they plugged it in, and because they said, well, we'll plug it in if you want to say something. I said, well, if you've got one, I'll say something. So I was the first DJ to talk on the microphone. I'm not actually sure if any other DJs did. So I spoke on the microphone, as in, thank you all for coming. Thank you for raising some money for Will and Hospice, a great charity. And the kind of, if you brought your singing voices along, make sure you sing along to this next one. I want to hear you. Just hyping the crowd up using the mic. And it was interesting because when I came off, all of the other, well, not all of the other DJs, but all of the DJs that were kind of there to the side watching, they all, sort of slapped me on the back and said, that's what it needed. That's what was needed. You started the party. It needed something to kind of pick things up. I think the music selection probably did that more so. I played some Latin house at the beginning. I've done an intro edit myself of Blaze, Most Precious Love, and I was desperate to play that first, and I was hoping and praying no one was going to play that track first before me. So I'm glad I was able to come in with that, because I've stripped it back down to the male. There's a male bassline version. Bom 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 bom. Boom, 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 boom. That's literally how it starts. And then I layered the a cappella on top of that, kind of 32 beats in. Whoa, precious, precious love. Love it. Oh my God. Uploaded. And I followed that with the kind of Latin house stuff. So Afro Medusa Pasilda from 1999, Junior Jackie Samba from 2003. And then I kind of went in, anything you play that's got an Armand Van Helden bass line on it is always going to pick up a crowd. Armand had that magic. So CJ Boland's Sugar Is Sweeter from 1996, the Armand Van Helden drum and bass mix. It's not a drum and bass tune as we call drum and bass nowadays, but that's what he'd called it. We'd also got the Bucketheads, The Bomb, ties in nicely with that. I then went Stardust, Music Sounds Better With You, and Daft Punk Around the World when they dropped yet again. Because people know them, people vibe to them, and kind of work with the sunny weather, even though there was no sun under the canopy. I could see, though, that because of the way the canopy was set up and because of the size of the stage, the speakers and the lighting was fantastic, I knew that vibe was really going to hit in there once the sun started to go down, because there'd be more people in there, and as it got darker, yeah, it was a party waiting to happen. Yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say. I've got so many things. It was really hard to sleep last night because my head was just going round and round, just completely feeling it, vibing off of it. It's a fantastic feeling, it really is. Highly recommend it if you want to get into DJing. You know what you need to do is speak to promoters, get to know promoters, get yourself out there, get an online presence. If you've got somewhere to put your mixes, then kind of do it, and then you can share the links with them. Rock up to a few clubs and events. If you're not sure who the promoter is, maybe speak to the DJs, or maybe speak to some of the promotional staff. They normally walk around in t-shirts that are branded up or something like that. Ask them, can you point out the guy that's running this, the girl that's running this? And just go and have an open conversation with them. You've got nothing to lose, literally nothing to lose. Ultra Vegas, donate to dance. I don't know what the final amount of money was that was raised for Willen Hospice, but I believe it exceeded £8,000. I did hear someone say we've made it to £10,000. I don't know if that's true. That would be fantastic if it was. So donate to dance is basically, it was a free event. All of the equipment, everything, stage, lighting, sound systems, bear in mind we're talking 3 stages here, the canopies, the setups, the visuals everywhere, the DJs, the staff, the people that were helping out, all free. Everyone gave up their time. It was for charities, for a local cancer hospice charity. They're treating a member of my family at the moment, my wife's cousin, and so it was an absolute no-brainer to go ahead and do it. But everything, all the equipment, is beg, borrow, and steal to pull it all together. Oh, I do know what I do want to tell you. So on the day, right up to literally me being there, I was still more nervous than I've ever been, actually. Whether you call it anxiety, whether you call it nerves, my fear was the equipment that I'd be playing on. So there'd been all this chat about a rotary mixer and some Pioneer CDJ 2000 Nexus, and I'm like, well, is it Nexus or is it Nexus 2? It only said Nexus in the sort of group chat. When I got there, they'd got an A9, because I said to someone, is it a rotary mixer that they've got up there? And they said, no, it's an A9. I said, cool, okay, great. Oh, that's in my comfort zone then, because that's what I use. And then I said, so is it the CDJ 2000s? Oh no, someone rocked up with 3 CDJ 3000s earlier on, so we've put 2 on the main stage. Yes, get in. Comfort zone all the way. That's literally what I use, CDJ 3000s and the DJ MA9 mixer. So for me, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Angelic voices. That made me settle down a massive amount. And then as long as nobody played that Blaze Most Precious Love track before me, I knew I could come in with that tune. And the thing that always settles me into my set and I said this to a couple of DJs on the day, you just get that first mix out of the way. If you can get your first mix done. I filtered down the last guy's last track because I wanted to start the Blaze Most Precious Love literally from the beginning. But it's not like I was killing the dance because there was no one really, there. Well, there were a few people. I'm not saying there was no one in the arena. Of course there wasn't. It's not that it was empty because they were all in the sun. But yeah, I knew I could start with my track and not really kill a vibe, if that made sense. And that was it. Once I got Afro, Medusa, Pasilda into Most Precious Love, game on. It worked. It went straight into the Latin vibe. Everything blended beautifully. The rest, as they say, is history. So I do recommend it. If you can get comfortable grabbing a mic and just hyping people up a little bit, it really gets you a connection to the crowd, to the audience. It really does. And from that, well, they're going to vibe on the music anyway. And the crowd know that you're an open person because you've spoken on the microphone and given something to them. So they give you back. That's it. I'm out. Ciao.